If you have topics you would like to have us discuss on the Aging Well podcast, please click on the links in the episode description to send us a text or record your message or comments. We'd love to hear from you and how we can help you age well. If you benefit from the Aging Well podcast and would like to support the content financially, please click on the Support the Show link or support our affiliates and advertisers. Welcome to the Aging Well podcast. I'm Jeff Armstrong here with Corbin Bruton. In this and the episodes that follow, we will share candid discussions on aging and hear from the experts. We are here to inform and encourage as we experience, aging. In this episode, Corbin and I share our thoughts on an article titled The 10 Most Important Fitness Goals and our list of 10 fitness goals for aging well.
Dr. Armstrong, did you check out the article that was recently released in Men's Journal?
You mean the one on the 10 most important fitness goals?
Yeah, they were kind of a little silly in my opinion. I feel like they were kind of just a blanket statement on these are the 10 goals that you need in order to have a good, healthy lifestyle, but there's no actual game set or plan with these particular goals. And I was thinking, you know what? There's a lot of people out there that want to talk about their goals and their ambitions on having a healthier lifestyle. And I thought we could kind of dive in today on either what goals should be or how they should be structured. What do you think about that?
I think that's a good idea. I think it is important to have goals, and that's why this article was a huge disappointment to me. And I keep getting sucked in by these men's journals articles and just hoping that they would have something good and useful in them. And once again, I was disappointed. This is supposed to be 10 goals that are drawn from 3, quote, experienced trainers, whatever that means. But let's just take them one by one and we'll do our typical ripping them apart. And then we'll finish up with I assume you came today with 10 goals that you would give to somebody, and then I have my 10 goals. Actually, I think I could have come up with a lot more.
Right.
And I tried to make them a bit more general and encompass everything without being overly specific. I mean, obviously, when we talk about goals, we want to follow the SMART plan where it's specific, measurable, attainable, reasonable. And remember, we've talked in the past from Coit Cooper where it's beyond normal, reasonable, what people would normally consider reasonable. So we have to extend ourselves a little bit more. And then there has to be a timeline to it. And then we also talked about kind of putting the I in front of it for I will do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But this doesn't really do any of that. So let's start with number 1. Be in it for the long run. Okay. It's a reasonable statement to make. Do you see that as a goal per se?
Not necessarily. I mean, the goal would be like, yes, I want to be in it. But as you kind of taught in your classes, what is it? What are you in?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you? Because what it means to me is going to be a different definition than what it means to you. Very similar to someone, how they say, well, I just want to be in shape. Okay, well, what does being in shape mean to you? That could be many different things. And what it means to me is going to be completely different than what it means to you. So be in it for the long haul. Okay, well, let's dive into that a little bit more.
Which to me basically is the purpose of this podcast.
Right.
Age well and being in it for the long run. Just what do we need to do to be in it for the long run? What are we trying to be in? And, they just said, a lot of people, it says right now you might be hitting the gym pretty hard, getting yourself in the best shape of your life. Of course, it won't always be that way. So realize that fitness should be a part of your life for decades to come. I agree with that.
Right.
We want to make it a goal of making aging well, being fit, going to the gym regularly and doing the things that are going to help us to have better longevity a part of our life. It's not horrible there, but it's really not a goal. When you're telling people, these are the most important fitness goals, they're basically saying the most important fitness goal is to have a fitness goal. Nobody can see my raised eyebrow. And you even sitting here, I don't have really eyebrows, so you can't really see my eyebrows. So let's go on to number two.
Number 2, get on to a healthy nutrition plan. But again,
Okay.
what does that mean?
Yeah, very non-specific goal there. Get onto a healthy nutrition plan. Well, I thought it was on a healthy plan. I picked a salad at McDonald's, right? Yes, it's important to get on a healthy nutrition plan, but what are the specifics of that? And I think the goal should be to have a consistent diet that is going to sustain your health and provide you with the nutrients and the energy necessary to perform, to be able to age well. So, I mean, it's again not a bad goal, but it's not really a goal. It's very not specific. It's for some, it might be getting on that healthy nutrition plan, might be to monitor your macros and get the right balance between proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. It might be, getting off of saturated fats and eating more polyunsaturated, monosaturated fats, healthy fats. Any other comments on number 2?
Well, again, there's so much controversy that's out there as far as what is healthy nowadays and what's not healthy, and what was healthy a decade ago is now super taboo in today's literature. So I think the term get on a healthy plan is you need a diet that is going to it's going to be customized to you, and that's where you can't just have a blanket statement. You're going to have some specificities that are custom to you and your goals. But in order for them to be custom to your goals, you have to really determine and pinpoint what your goals are.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Cool.
Yeah. Very general stuff here. Number 3, monitor your vital statistics and keep them in check.
Again, I think that's where it comes with specificities. Now, if this is just a blanket statement and they're like, hey, this is a goal that you should have, you want your vital records to be in the right area, but we're not going to tell you which one of your vital records that you want. You're going to have to make that determination. I can get behind that. But
Well, I think it's all part of the process of moving toward the achievement of your goals. Is in a sense, it's monitoring your progress. If we want to be healthy, well, what is healthy? Well, is it our blood pressure, our resting heart rate, body composition, body weight, strength that measures. So we want to be measuring our progress is basically what number 3 is, but that's all part of the process of setting and achieving goals. It's not a goal.
Mm.
It's almost kind of like your number 3 goal should be to monitor your goals. I don't get it.
I don't either. Number 4, have a consistent approach.
Okay. Again, not a goal. Wise advice for somebody who is setting goals. Have consistency in your plan. And I think that is a good word of advice, but it's, again, not really a fitness goal. I mean, because I can have a consistent and unhealthy approach. I can consistently go have Taco Bell every day for lunch, and that's consistent, but is it healthy?
Yeah, I don't know.
Some people might be arguing, Taco Bell, yeah, it's healthy.
So number 5 is improve your flexibility and balance. Now, I don't necessarily think that's a bad goal. In fact, I added a goal on my 10 about flexibility and balance. Just added a little bit more detail, but overall, I think that's a pretty good goal.
Yeah, but again, it's not really a goal. It's improve your flexibility. Well, goals need to be measurable and attainable, and you have to challenge yourself a little bit. So improve my flexibility. If I'm only, getting a millimeter closer to touching my toes every month for the next 10 years, I'm still not going to get that close to really having good flexibility. So I'm improving, but I'm not really improving in a significant fashion. And so specifically, what do you want to be improving in terms of your flexibility and your balance? How am I going to go about doing that? Needs to be really the focus. And so, I mean, I agree with that. I think it's a reasonable statement to make, but if we're saying these are 10 most important fitness goals, let's be more specific. I mean, what is good flexibility for an individual? What am I improving toward?
Number 6, improve our immune system.
It's interesting how they write that. Every other one has been improve your flexibility, monitor your statistics, and then improve our immune system. So am I responsible for your immune system? Is that kind of what the goal is there?
I guess so. Yeah.
So I'm going to have to just go out and make sure everybody's healthier. Yeah, there is a element of this in my list of 10 we'll get to. I do think it's definitely important to improve the immune system. We should find ways to get ourselves healthier. But again, what is the specificity of that goal? That is, to me, that is an outcome of regular physical activity. If I'm exercising regularly, I'm doing my strength and conditioning, I'm doing cardio, I'm eating right, I'm not putting myself in more unhealthy situations. I'm not hanging around to people that are hacking and coughing, although that can boost my immune system to a certain extent because I'm exposing myself to germs that I can then become a bit more immune to. But if we're going to improve our immune system, great. But what are we improving it toward? How are we improving it? So again, I don't think that's a goal. I think it's a great sentiment to have for somebody that is looking to age well, but it's not a goal. What do you think?
I don't know how to even.
I don't think the listener can really pick up on your bewildered look.
That
is not coming over the airways. Yeah, I just wish they would hire better journalists at Men's Journal. So number 7. I discussed my epigenetics test with True Diagnostic co-founder Hannah Wendt in episode 162. Epigenetic testing measures baseline and changes in your pace of aging, giving you the power to steer your anti-aging or health and wellness journey in the right direction. I learned that I am aging well. Click on the affiliate link in the episode description, use the promo code AGEWELL, and receive a 12% discount on your epigenetics test and monitor your pace of aging.
Get out of your comfort zone. Which, I mean, I feel like that's what a goal is.
Yeah,
a goal
exactly
is
what a goal
you're
is.
getting out of your comfort zone.
So if you're back to what Coit has said about goals that are not reasonable by normal standards, that's getting out of your comfort zone. I could write a goal that I know I can easily achieve, but that's not really getting out of my comfort zone. So I think what they're trying to say is really have a growth mindset and have that mindset of trying to constantly improve yourself, to tweak your fitness levels, to be better, but do the hard stuff. Not make easy goals. An easy fitness goal would be go to the gym 3 days a week. Well,
right.
Yeah, you can show up at the gym, but what are you really accomplishing? Go there and do something challenging. And especially for those of us that are aging and attempting to age well, getting out of our comfort zone is not buying into some of the ageist perceptions that people have about what your body should be doing. It's trying to challenge those and just destroy them. I'm gonna continue to get stronger. I'm gonna have a heavy deadlift. Those are things that get us out of our comfort zone. But again, getting out of your comfort zone is not a goal. It is a good sentiment to push somebody towards having stronger goals. Your thoughts?
No, I mean, you nailed it right there. You can't have a goal of getting out of your comfort zone unless, I mean, if that is the goal, then you got a lot of work to do on that one. Because if your goal is to challenge yourself every single day just by getting out of your comfort zone, well, I mean, that's a whole nother realm of that. That's almost like that's not the physical aspect. That's more of the psychological aspect in that one. And although Mind and body kind of go hand in glove. At the same time, we're talking about overall physical health.
Yeah, I mean, these are all important to one's fitness, but these are not what I would consider goals per se, and certainly maybe not the most important goals. This one blows me away. How is this even a goal? Take a proper amount of time to achieve your goals. So my goal is to achieve my goal in an appropriate amount of time.
Isn't that just called a SMART goal?
Yeah, that's called a SMART goal. That's part of the goal, is to have it in a reasonable timeline. And again, not a bad sentiment to encourage people to, have reasonable time frames for doing their goals. We don't want to lose body fat too quickly or expect ourselves to, but we also don't want to take too long. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was mistaken. Number 9 is a SMART goal. Number 9 is make your fitness goals specific, measurable, attainable, and time bound.
Well, I mean, number 9 includes number 8. A proper amount of time to achieve your goals. Well, that's all part of being time bound. And so number 9 really kind of blew me away. It's like, how do you even call that a goal when that is the definition of how your goal should be formatted? Make your fitness goals specific. So we just gone through 8 very non-specific important goals, right? Nobody saw my air quotes there. Measurable, very little of that was measurable. I mean, improve your immune system. Well, how is that necessarily measurable? Attainable. I mean, those are all attainable things, but they're not really, again, goals, and then it's got to be time bound. So using that SMART approach to writing your goals. And it doesn't even have in here the reasonable, or the, as Coit would say, not reasonable by normal standards. It doesn't even have that in here. So number 9, not a goal, but a good little bit of advice when you are formatting your goals.
Number 10, focus more on establishing healthy habits than on results.
Again, I think an important consideration when you are writing these fitness goals, we want to be focused more on changing the habits that are going to be lifelong. And we're talking here about aging well. We're looking at healthy habits that are going to be long-term, not necessarily on, having, 6-pack abs, or, what is the number of what I'm benching or squatting or doing something like that. But there needs to be a bit of a balance in there. I mean, you have to be focused on the results, but the results aren't going to come until you establish the habits that are going to accomplish those goals. And so I think we just went through a list of 10 important pieces of advice for somebody who is looking to get more fit and to age well, but not 10 specific important fitness goals. So now that we've kind of poo-pooed this whole article, what do you think? What are your, let's go one by one like we normally do. We'll go back and forth. What's your first on your list of most important goals?
So my most important is going to be maintaining my strength, utilizing a 5x5 lifting program, either 4 days a week or a 3x10 to 3x12, 3 days a week.
Okay, so you went pretty specific there.
Yeah.
With the goals. Now mine, I got to admit, they don't perfectly fit the iSmart approach, but they can be formulated a little bit more to be more specific. And the reason I didn't go quite as specific is because these are supposed to be important fitness goals. I'm thinking out to the general public. These are the 10 things that I would most recommend for people to be doing in order to age well. And so my first one is don't get sick. And I know that sounds like a, like it almost could be in a men's journal article.
Don't get sick.
But there's a specificity to that. And there's a couple points to be made with that. Is one, when I tell myself don't get sick, that puts me in a mindset of I'm not going to get sick. And, you don't allow some of those little under the weather kind of feelings to drive you toward illness. And I'm looking at doing the things daily, moment by moment that are going to keep me from getting sick. I know that my exercise is going to help and boost my immune system. I'm eating right. I'm keeping a healthy body composition. I'm having a proper mindset. I'm not fearful of germs because I know that a small amount of exposure to germs and the pathogens that are out there are going to boost my immune system. I allow my immune system to do what it needs to do to keep me from getting sick. So does that make sense?
Totally.
Okay.
Number 2 for me is, yeah, I know we talk about how easy it is, but would be to improve cardio health with a balance of either walking 10,000 steps a day or adding a slow, steady state jogging or cardio for approximately 3 miles, either 2 to 3 days a week.
Okay. Again, in a very specific fitness goal.
Yeah.
Good. And I have some of those come in a little bit later in my list. And so we'll get to those when I get to those. My number 2 is maintain function physically and cognitively to age well. So again, that's a rather general goal, but the goal is doing the things on a regular basis. And again, it's measurable because I know that my strength is being maintained, my activity level is being maintained. To the best of my ability, I'm going to maintain my cognitive abilities. And again, some of that is outside of our general control. But what am I doing on a regular basis to challenge my brain? Reading regularly, doing puzzles, things that are learning new things. All of that is helping me to maintain my function. So, does that sound like a reasonable goal?
Is it measurable though?
It is measurable because it's maintaining. So again, to maintain, you have to be measuring. And so you have to know that the numbers aren't going down. So I can measure my strength, my cardiovascular health. What am I able to do physically? I'm trying to do at least the same amount on a regular basis as opposed to letting my body decline over time. So I think, again, this is a more general important fitness goal for everybody to just, and again, my list isn't number 1 is most important. Number 10 is the least important of the 10 goals, but it is to focus on doing the things that are going to help us to maintain function. We don't have to worry about getting better all the time because, I'm 60. The thoughts of me getting significantly stronger and more fit and maybe leaner and doing all those types of things are diminishing, not rather fast, but they're diminishing over time. It's going to be a lot harder as I age more to have significant improvement. But if my goal is to maintain over the course of the next 20, 30, 40 years that I hope I'm on this earth, I hope at least 40, going for 50. I want to hit 110 would be kind of nice. But if I'm maintaining function relative to others in that age group, that's significant improvement.
That's a good point of view. Okay, my number 3 is keeping up with my future kids or grandkids, no matter what the age is. So whether it's my age or their age, I would like to keep up with them. And I can do that through having a proper workout routine and regimen, maintaining my health.
And I think that's kind of along the lines of my number 2, maintaining function. If you can keep up with your kids and your grandkids, you're definitely able to maintain function. Probably having to maybe even boost your function a little bit, depending on where you are right now, fitness-wise, because those little monsters can really, even as a young person, wear you down quite a bit. But as we get older, it gets a little bit harder. And I'm not to that point yet with grandchildren, but I know little kids would tire me out a lot faster now than they did 20 years ago. My number 3 is be better today than you were yesterday. And again, it's rather general, but it's having that mindset to where I'm doing things on a daily basis that are trying to grow me. So having a growth mindset is my goal. And again, it's measurable. If I look at what did I do yesterday? Did I do anything better today? Am I better spiritually, physically, intellectually, emotionally, and socially? If I've read something, if I've learned new information, I'm better than I was yesterday. If I worked out and I pushed myself to a point of overload and I'm progressing, then I'm better than I was yesterday. Even if, it's a matter of I haven't gained anything because I'm aging, but I'm offsetting decline, then I'm better. Right. And so I don't know, that might be a little bit more along the lines of the article, but that's kind of what I put in my number 3.
Number 4 for me is improve or maintain flexibility and stability. Utilizing a 90-minute exercise or a 90-minute stretch routine, whether it's yoga, plyometrics, athletic stretching, 90 minutes a week in order to improve full range of motion during actual exercises, or just basic life tasks like tying your shoes and stuff like that, which seems silly, but there's no doubt that the older you get, your range of motion, your flexibility decreases, and little things that we take advantage of, such as tying your shoes, can become more of a challenge. And I don't want to be that guy that, once I hit 45, I can't tie my shoes. So
I think, we tend to think that our mobility should decrease. I mean, it's part of aging, but in reality, it's not.
well, it's
And if we are maintaining, and again, you don't have to do an extensive amount of stretching. We're not trying to be able to bring our leg up behind our head or, twist ourselves in like the shape of a pretzel. We're basically just looking to have a functional level of mobility and range of motion that is pain free. And that maintaining that is a reasonable and important goal for somebody in terms of their fitness is maintain your fitness or maintain your flexibility, improve it if it needs to be improved.
yeah.
All right. Number 4 for me was be well centered. Uh, again, a rather general goal, but for me, again, it's having the mindset, a daily plan of approaching my life to where I am trying to better myself spiritually, physically, intellectually, emotionally, and socially. Focused on those things daily. And when I'm focused on them, I'm continuing to try and move toward that asymptote of well-centeredness, of being well, knowing that there's always room for a little bit more improvement.
For me, what are we on? Number 6?
Number 5.
Number 5, I did HIIT training 2 days a week. And when I do HIIT training, I mean going all out within a 40-second interval and then having a 20-second rest in between. That way it gives me a good solid 1 minute, essentially per each exercise, 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. And it just helps me keep better track. And I'll do that for a good solid 45 minutes and then a little stress or cool down right afterward. Not stress, stretch or cool down afterwards.
And are you doing this?
At the moment, no, but once the wedding's over, I'm getting back into it.
So it remains the goal, right? All right. So my number 5, no surprises, keep a regular bedtime and sleep 7 to 8 hours a night. So that's probably my most specific goal so far. It's like I'm going to go to bed at this time and I'm going to get up at this time. And ideally, there should be about 7 to 8 hours in that. I probably need to strive more for the 7 to 8 as opposed to more like 6 to 7. But the reality for me, it's quite difficult to get to bed at 9 and then, I have to get up. And I'm actually trying to push myself to get up a little bit earlier where I'd like to get up at 4 in order to get my workout in, be able to get my mindfulness work done, my journaling and meditation, that kind of stuff, and then get my daughter off to school. Because for some reason, our school district does not want to provide a bus to this area. And we're like as far as you can get away from the high school. And so I have to drive her in the mornings and I have a 9:00 class this term. So it's like, yeah, this didn't work too well that they decided not to provide a bus this year. And so it really kind of limits what I can do because she's got to get up, get ready, and it's a little bit tougher. So if I go from 9 to 4, that's how many hours? It's 7 hours. So I mean, I'm in that range. So as long as I'm getting to bed on my regular bedtime, I'm going to be okay.
You crack me up with your bedtime.
Well, you got to have a bedtime, man.
I said, go to bed. It's my bedtime. It's a school night.
Every night's a school night. Every night it's still 9 o'clock almost. Saturdays I might fudge it a little bit more. Fridays maybe.
Number 7 for me is keep my mind strong, utilizing sleep and nutrition. So, nutrition wise, it's just a little silly thing, but I like to take my fish oil, creatine, and then I just try and get my 7 hours of sleep as well. But oh yeah, I'm sorry, and also I try and learn something every single day, something new, whether it's a new word, whether it's a fun-filled fact, whether it's something in history, something to just keep my mind sharp. I just want to keep that bad boy intact.
Keep it sharp?
Yep, got to keep it sharp.
You got to be sharp to begin with. No,
that's right. A razor sharp up there.
All right, so I'm on my number 6 then, and that is maintain a healthy body composition. And again, that's not 6-pack abs. It's just I don't want to allow body fat to creep back on me as I age. And so, as long as I'm in that range of, I'm hoping like maybe 12 to about 17% body fat would be my ideal, then that's where I want to be. And so that's a measurable, attainable goal. So, and the time frame is to maintain it, so it's constant. So I like that goal, and I think that should be a goal for everybody. It's a healthy body composition. It's not a specific number. Nobody needs to be approaching 6-pack abs unless you're a bodybuilder or something like that. But what is the healthy body composition for you? Work toward maintaining that, maybe even a little bit leaner than what you consider healthy.
And a good way to do that is my number 8 or 7 goal, which is take in 1 pound of protein or 1 gram of protein per pound of body fat. 1 pound of protein. No, 1 gram of protein.
On us there.
Yeah, 1 gram of protein per pound of body fat. And what I also like to do, I like to change up my protein. So I don't just take in the whey protein shakes. I balance it out throughout the day. So I'll have eggs, and then I'll have chicken, and then I'll have some steak, and then I'll have some fish. It was really awesome. We just went deep sea fishing. My brother just took me that for my bachelor party, and we maxed out on fish. So I got a freezer full of rockfish, and it is amazing right now as part of your protein intake. So
I think, part of that, and it goes, my maintain a healthy body composition, to me, that encompasses that healthy nutrition, healthy eating, that you're eating the proper balance of macros. So you're getting your right amount of protein. And for those of us, as we're aging, protein becomes increasingly important. And I think a lot of aging adults ignore their need for protein. That, just eating more protein is going to help you to not necessarily stimulate protein synthesis, although some of the literature says that's the case. I think it's a much more maintaining that protein resynthesis, so we're not breaking down our muscle mass and losing it at a faster rate. So protein is hugely important. And I think that goal of 1 gram per pound of body weight per day is a good goal. Balancing that out through multiple meals throughout the day and multiple sources of protein as well is a really good approach. So
cool.
Kudos. Number 7.
Is that 7? I thought we were on number 8.
No, we're on 7. I'm on 7 at least. I don't know where you've gotten, but we get a little confused.
Yeah, we're on number 8 because this is my last one.
We can't be on number 8.
Yeah,
I haven't done my number 7. Maybe I'm on 7 and then you're going to go to 8. Yeah, you went first.
Yeah.
So my number 7 is follow Carmine's law. Remember back to last year, we had Carmine Arpaio on, and he talked about, and I actually published this in my Pathophysiology and Exercise textbook. So it is now a official law. Take that with a grain of salt, but Carmine, we published your law, and Carmine's law is strength plus posture equals balance. And so by following that, they mentioned about flexibility and balance in the article in their 10 important fitness goals. So if I'm going to maintain my balance as I age, then I have to be focused on my posture. So sitting upright, doing the things that are going to strengthen the muscle endurance in the muscles that are supporting my uprightness. So trying not to slouch, not letting my head lean forward as I'm on my phone all the time or on my computer, but also focusing in on building and maintaining muscle strength. And so I don't have the specific goals of how I'm going to achieve that, but the goal is to maintain, increase my strength, maintain, improve my posture. And in doing so, then I'm going to maintain and improve my balance.
If you don't know how you're going to do it, then how are you?
Well, I know how I'm going to do it, but for me, I like to follow much more of a periodized plan for strength training. And I think in one of our upcoming episodes, we'll have to kind of sit through what is a good prescription for strength exercise. But I periodize, so I'm not going to do like always a 5x5. I'm not doing a 3x10 all the time. Lately, I've been working on a program where I do a bit more of a heavy 5x5 earlier in the week. And then the second half of the week, I'm actually doing German volume training, where I'm doing a couple exercises in a workout for 10 sets of 10. And so building a little bit more hypertrophy, but I don't do that forever. So what I do for strength and posture is going to vary over the course of the year, but the ultimate goal is to increase my strength, maintain strength, and then also improve posture in the process. And by doing so, improve my balance. That makes sense?
Yep.
All right, now we can go to number 8.
Number 8 for me is drink 1 gallon of water a day. Super easy. It's simple. And when I drink a gallon a day, I feel way more, I feel like my joints aren't as stiff. I feel more energetic when I drink a full gallon a day. And I just feel overall just healthier. Cognitively there. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a placebo effect. I don't know if it's actual hydration or cell metabolism or whatever it is. But when I drink a full gallon a day, I feel significantly better. And it's super easy because you're going to hit it because you're walking around with your gallon jug. And by the end of the day, if it's gone, you've achieved your goal.
Yeah. There's some of us with 60-year-old bladders and prostates that, drinking a gallon of water a day can be quite challenging.
Yeah,
But I think it's definitely a reasonable goal, an important goal to maintain your hydration levels. And, that may not necessarily be carrying a gallon of water and drinking that throughout the day, but it's drinking regularly. I don't have that as one of my important goals, but I do try, especially in hot, humid weather, not pass a water fountain without drinking, trying to get regular fluids, drinking more throughout the day and being a bit more focused on drinking. My number 8 is maintain a healthy cardiovascular system. And I don't put a goal of increasing or any kind of specifics in terms of how I'm going to attain that, because my goal is to just simply maintain the level of cardiovascular health that I have. I've put a bigger focus towards strength and conditioning, as we've talked many times before about. But maintaining a healthy cardiovascular system means I'm moving a lot more. I'm continuing to do the things that are going to keep my heart functioning well. And so that's my goal. I'm not going to try and improve things. I don't have any specific performance goals in mind. It's just simply keep that heart healthy, try and maintain as best as possible high VO2 max. So I do that by regular cardiovascular exercise and regular physical activity.
My number 9 is reach the summit once a week. Now, what I mean by that is you can actually do a physical exercise such as hiking, where you reach a literal summit, or if you don't have that luxury, you can go into the gym and you can hit a PR. So you're, again, either getting out of your comfort zone, but you're doing something to improve where you thought was impossible. You're making it the possibility. And it could be something as small as taking your maximum deadlift or maximum bench press and just adding 2.5 pounds to it. As long as you've beat yourself from last week and you've improved in that strength, well, in my eyes, you've reached that summit and you can keep going for the next week.
Okay. And that's right. And going back to my number 4 with the well-centered, I think it's important for people to realize that that summit becomes a bit more of an asymptote, that at certain points, certain summits are going to be, that raising it up a little bit more is going to be increasingly difficult. When we initially start out and we have not been doing anything for fitness, those gains are going to come a lot faster, and we're going to be hitting summits more regularly. But as we get closer to our ultimate aging well, those summits are going to seemingly be less and less increased in magnitude. I'm not sure quite how to phrase that, where you're not going to see as big of an achievement from week to week, day to day, because you're already kind of getting near that peak summit.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And that's why it could just be 2.5 pounds a week, like just adding.
Well, even that, I mean, if you have improved so much, you look at some of the peak strength athletes in the world, they're not adding even maybe 2.5 pounds to the bar a week because they are so strong. You're not going to get much stronger. They're so close to the asymptote. It might just be another performance aspect of that particular activity. Maybe it's, move it that weight faster, or move it in a little bit better form, or one extra rep. There's going to be small differences, but I think it's important for the listener to understand that those small differences are still hitting a summit on a regular basis. We can't expect to just always be having these magnificent improvements and PRs in our performances. Sometimes the small changes are going to be the most significant.
Yeah.
So my number 9 is kind of along the same lines, is practice mindfulness daily. And that's doing the things that are connecting us with our well-centeredness. Journaling, meditating, taking walks, doing activities that are going to connect us socially. My wife and I don't know how many years now we've been doing our 15-minute check-in, and my daughter now expects her time in that. And, she wants to come in and she wants to have time to talk with us. And so I really appreciate that, because that not only it's being mindful of myself, it's being mindful of others. And so doing those things that are connecting myself to my spiritual, physical, intellectual, emotional, and social dimensions.
I think number 10 for me is going to be including all of my 1 through 9 and I would just like to be a walking business card where people are like, hey man, what are you doing? How can I improve my life? My goal is to maintain a certain level of health or fitness that inspires others to do the same, to tweak something with their life. Like that would be the end result. I think that would be a really, really cool thing. And in order to do that, I would have to hit 1 through 9 of my stuff.
So you want people to So you must be one of the hosts of the Aging Well podcast.
That's right. I
Aging so
do. Yes,
well.
I do.
Yeah, I don't have that as one of my goals per se, but I mean it's definitely in my process that, and I think that's part of when I'm talking about mindfulness, being well centered. All of these things are hopefully accomplishing that goal of being a walking billboard for exercise science, for aging well. You know, for me, I can't get in front of my class on a daily basis and be out of shape, be huffing and puffing. I mean, I'll make fun of them when they come up and they're huffing and puffing coming into class because they got to walk up 3 flights of stairs and say, come on, you're exercise science majors. This should not be challenging for you. Or if I see them take the elevator, they know they're going to get, reamed on for that.
And
But
if
I
you
want
think he's
them-
joking, he does do this to students.
But I want them to be able to see that it is possible to age well. And this is what aging well looks like.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why I can't be 60 and, lifting a significant amount of weight and doing some of those things. I love with my strength and conditioning athletes that, I had an athlete, I think it was last week or so. The dumbbells at the high school only go up to 100, which I think is kind of ridiculous when you have a football team and things like that. They should have gotten much bigger plates.
Really?
But yeah,
Only 100?
they only go up to 100.
Dude, my high school went up to 120. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Even 120, I don't think is enough. But I mean,
What? For
I
high
have
school
adjustable ones
kids?
at home. I'll do. And he asked me, well, how many times do you think you could do, this weight, or I forget what the weight was, or, if it was the 90 or the 100 pounds. And, I told him, I said, I just in recent workout did 140 for 5 reps. He's like, really? How many times do you think you could do the 100? And I said, I don't know, maybe as many as 20. And I had just done a 10 by 10 back workout that day. So it's like, he's going to have me do as many reps as I can. I'm fatigued. I'm not going to do as well. And I cranked out 20 in perfect form, and it just blew him away. And I want to be able to do that for as long as possible so that, I'm keeping it a little bit ahead of the athletes so that they see that they can get stronger, and also see that, this isn't something they're doing just for sport. This is something they're doing for the long haul. And so, yeah,
So
I'm
you did
with you on your number 10
100
goal.
pound dumbbell bench press. So that's 200 pounds. Oh, man, that's awesome.
No, I didn't bench press. It was a dumbbell row.
Oh, row.
Yeah.
I thought it was the bench portion. I was like, because a lot of people don't realize that a barbell bench press and a dumbbell bench press, although it's a similar movement, it's actually dumbbells make it a lot more challenging. But okay, rows, that's a little different. Okay, that's not as I thought it was the 100.
Less impressive.
It's less impressive.
Come
yeah.
on. How much can you dumbbell row?
Oh, I don't have the strongest back. I could probably do.
See, that's one thing I like to
80s or
teach them
90s,
is
yeah.
that so many young people go to the gym. The first thing they're going to do is the bench press.
Right.
And to me, the first thing you need to be doing are the squats. And
Yes.
priority. When we talk about our basic 5, I almost put them in the order that they should be. Or your priority is going to be the squat, and then that deadlift variation. Although I don't think heavy straight bar deadlifts are the most important for everybody. I think that hip hinge kind of movement, which going to, you put more muscle mass, you're using more of your body in those exercises. So the squat and the deadlift variation, the pull, build a back up, because again, if you're an athlete and you're trying to put on muscle mass, your latissimus dorsi muscles and the muscles of the back are much bigger than the pectoralis major muscles. And they can look a lot more impressive when you have that much broader V shape. Who cares that you got, nicely shaped pecs? And then I'd put maybe the bench press and overhead press kind of 4th and 5th in that list. But so many guys, they immediately go to the bench. It's like, why are you working one of the smallest muscle groups? And for a wrestler, it's like, how much are you really pushing anybody in that position. You're doing a lot more pulling and using your back muscles, your leg muscles a lot more. And I can tell the difference when I see these kids wrestle when they've been doing the heavy virtual squats and doing their back work. They wrestle differently than somebody that is coming into the gym and just doing bench press. So.
All right. So you heard it first.
And my number 10
get your
is
squats
the
in.
other centered. And that's just kind of taking that greater emphasis on the social aspect, being focused on relationships, being focused on giving to others as opposed to taking from others. And I find it challenging to be other centered. Sometimes the more you try and give, the more you feel like people are just taking from you, and then you get defensive about it, and it causes you to pull back. Like one of my mantras is "I am third" from Brian Song or from Gail Sayers' autobiography. And you put yourself in that third position. Sometimes it's difficult to stay there. And so for me, having a goal daily of trying to do things that are intentionally other centered is one of my important fitness goals, because I think I can't be fit if I'm not doing things for others. I mean, even being fit from a physical standpoint should be for the purposes of benefiting others more so than benefiting myself. That concludes our list. Maybe not what people, I think, expected. I don't know. Your list was a little bit more specific to specific dimensions of fitness type of goals.
Yep.
And I think it's important when you're looking at what is an important fitness goal, it is what is most important for you, where you are at right now in not only the physical dimension, but also in the spiritual, in the intellectual, in the emotional, and in the social dimensions of wellness. And so it may be focusing in on one or more particular areas of the health-related components of physical fitness, your cardiorespiratory endurance, muscle strength, muscle endurance, flexibility, body composition. But it also might entail a little bit greater focus on the neuromotor dimensions of fitness, which would include your speed, power, balance, agility, coordination, and reaction time. So anything else to add there?
No, I think you nailed it. Like, basically, set a goal specific for you, customize it for you, picture that goal. You know what? I do think that one thing that we've never mentioned as far as goal setting is actually like the mental or psychological aspect of visualizing you actually achieving that goal, and really, really, really picturing it into your head where you believe that it is obtainable, and you know that it is obtainable. If you look at, there was an episode where we were talking about quotes. Almost every one of those famous people with those quotes, whether it's Muhammad Ali, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, anyone, that at one point they had a famous quote that said, if they can believe it in their mind to the point where they feel it in their soul, then it's obtainable, it's achievable. Some of the most successful sports teams, before the night of a big game, their coach would have them do a visualization process of them practicing perfect form and technique in their own head and winning that championship. It is possible to achieve your goals. You just have to determine what goal it is that you want and what it is that you're going to do in order to maintain that.
And it's a good segue to finish up with, is I did my goals, and I came across a posting. This was actually from a couple of years ago that I had shared on Facebook from Wrestling Mindset. And I love the stuff that the Zanetti brothers put out there. But they have a list of 10 ways to win the school year. And we can equally say this is 10 ways to age well. And number 1, consistent sleep schedule. I like that. Solid nutrition. Number 3, daily mindset motivation. Number 4, no excuses/complaining. Number 5, study, read a little each day. Number 6, ask for help. Number 7, plan your schedule now. Number 8, surround yourself with winners. Number 9, smile more. And number 10, help others. And I feel like my list, I had a little bit of that in my list, but I think, when we look at what is most important in regards to fitness goals, these are the things that are going to help us to win at aging well.
Agreed. Age well. In fact, that should be everyone's goal.
To age well?
Is to age well.
All right. Well, there you have it. So get out there and age well. Thank you for listening. I hope you benefited from today's podcast. And until next time, keep aging well.